find a parking lot.
Right.
This morning we're going to take a moment to talk about mortgage rates as well as refinancing, specifically even if rates may be low. How is it the right time for you?
It's true, especially when it comes to refinancing. Rates may be low, but again, it's not for everybody. So Vince Ingley joins us this morning from Lavier's Mortgage. Thank you for coming in this morning.
Good to be back. Thanks.
And we have to start with the good news. You know, obviously the mortgage or the Wall Street did pretty well yesterday, and a lot of it has to do with home sales. So things do look good in a way.
There are some indications that we may be close to a bottom, if not potentially hit the bottom. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves,
right,
of course, but there are some, finally, there has been some positive news.
All right, so many people are thinking, okay, rates are getting lower, maybe I should refinance. And you came up with 3 things we need to keep in mind if we're thinking about that.
Yeah, 3 things. Mainly, actually, jot them down here. If your current interest rate is greater than 5.75, or if you have an adjustable rate mortgage. So if you have an adjustable rate mortgage that it's even lower than 5.75, it may make sense to get that locked into a fixed rate, with fixed rates being somewhere around 4.5 to 4.75 currently.
And next you say if you have what, unsecured debt?
Unsecured debt, credit card installment loans, you can help there?
Absolutely. You may have a great interest rate on your mortgage. If you have unsecured debt, Visa, MasterCard, installment loans, furniture accounts, retail store cards, some of those interest rates are 15%, 20%, 25% plus. No tax deduction on any of that debt as well.
All right. Also, change of income can play a role here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Up or down, and it can also be expected. So being proactive is normally a good thing. So if you're expecting less hours at work, if you're expecting your bonuses maybe to be cut, which is very common right now for a lot of people, refinancing into a lower interest rate and a longer term may make sense. If you're expecting a nice pay increase and you're looking to potentially pay down your mortgage balance, you may want to take a shorter term and pay it down with a better interest rate, get it paid off faster.
We were talking about this yesterday. There has been a problem in the past where people, they save up front, they get a nice check, but what they don't realize is they could be paying, you know, more in the long run. So how can you avoid that, for example, especially right now? Let's say, you know, you have a 15-year mortgage, you've already paid in it 10 years. Could you end up with a 30-year, for example, and you think you're saving money?
Sure. I mean, that's you know, it's a little bit of the smoke and mirrors sometimes, you know. So you have 15, 17 years left on your term, you refinance back into 30 years, you're saving yourself plenty of amount monthly, but you've just you know, put yourself back some. Now, if you're not going to be in the home for 30 years, then maybe that doesn't necessarily make that big of a difference, because you're saving on the cash flow in the short run. If you sell it in 2, 3, 4, 5, or even 7 years, you still made out. So it's just understanding, I think, you know, number one, what your immediate need is. So if it's cash flow or money immediately, the 30 years is probably your best option, frankly. If it's more of a long term and you want to get that mortgage paid down, the 15-year. But, you know, frankly, the 15-year is almost becoming obsolete. One, because it's a difficult economy and everyone's losing their jobs, so who's actually paying their mortgage down faster? But at the same token, interest rates on the 15-year are not that much better than the 30-year. So at least have the flexibility. If you got a little bit extra money monthly, by all means, pay it down.
You also gave us some dangers. There are 3 pitfalls to keep an eye out for when refinancing. First, high closing costs versus monthly savings. You got to do your math here.
You got it. It's a very simple equation. If you're saving yourself X amount of dollars per month, let's say, for example, you're saving yourself $200 per month, but it's costing you $10,000 in closing costs to get the deal done, divide the $200 into the $10,000, and you'll find out how many months it's going to take you to recoup those closing costs. So 200 into 10,000 is 50 months. So unless you're going to be in that home for sure for close to 4 or 5 years, it may or may not make sense to refinance.
That's a good one.
Yeah, conversely, if obviously you're saving a ton of money monthly with low closing costs, it makes all the sense in the world. The other problem that I would look out for is borrowing too much against what your home is worth and not preparing yourself, most importantly, for potential disability, job loss, divorce. And when I say not preparing yourself, not having a disability insurance policy, in effect, a life insurance policy, or an exit strategy as far as, you know, hey, listen, if I borrow this much against the home and I had to sell it 6 months from now, do I have the savings and do I think that this home can go for what it is? And obviously, you don't want to get teased into an adjustable rate mortgage if you've got a great fixed rate mortgage right now.
All right, we've got to wrap this up, but finally, you were saying, you know, the rates are around, what, 4.5% or something like that. Everybody obviously can't expect to get that, isn't that right? I mean, obviously you have to shop for the best rate. You've
got to shop for the best rate. Call, you know, 1 or 2 mortgage companies or lenders. Rates are, like you said, 4.5 to 4.75. I've got some clients that are on the fence. We're telling people is to get your appraisal done, get your loan in and out of underwriting, and then try and catch the right point to effectively lock your interest rate. But in the whole scheme of things, I mean, 4.75 on a 30-year fix, if you can qualify, if you have equity, jump all over it. If you want to hold out for that 4.5, you know, the risk of not ever getting to the 4.5, maybe missing your opportunity at 4.7 on a 30-year fix, I think is too great. It's time to do it.
I think we were talking a while ago, and we were talking 7 and 8.
Remember?
So yeah, so 4.75.
Sounds really good.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.